gentlemen, coming to you from the Spit Studios in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. This is the Spit Sports Show. This is a video I've been wanting to make for a very, very long time because it's always kind of fascinated me, you know, how there is just one sport in the United States that's just so far above the others in terms of popularity, talkability, media coverage, all of that stuff. So my question that I asked myself is, why is football, American football, not soccer, the most popular sport easily in the United States? Now, I'm from Canada, but I'm going to mainly focus on the United States for this because around here it's very popular as well, but this is a hockey country. So America, let's look at you for a second. So every single one of the top 10 most watched telecasts of 2023 was a football game. That's not sports telecast. That is not any sort of category. That is every single piece of television programming that was broadcasted in the United States. All of the top 10 most watched were NFL games. 38 of the top 50 of those same telecasts were also football games. So clearly, America has some sort of fascination with this NFL, just like I do. So obviously, in general, America loves sports. I don't want to get into all of the specifics as to why, you know, sports are so popular in the United States and around the world, to be honest. You can start with, you know, escapism. It unites us all, you know, rooting for the same thing with a bunch of people who support. Anyways, that's not the focus of this video. Sports are great. If you clicked on this channel called The Spit Sports Show and are watching these videos, you agree with that. So obviously, America loves sports, but why this sport specifically? Why not baseball anymore? Why not hockey? Why not basketball? So for me, the start of why the NFL is so popular starts with the football game itself. So I just want to compare it to some of the other most popular sports that I just mentioned. So in basketball, let's take that. That's probably the second most worldwide talked about sport in the US. I just said worldwide and US in the same sentence. You guys know what I mean. Probably the second most popular sport in the US. The issue with basketball, especially in the regular season, is that the points scored seem so meaningless because they're so ubiquitous during the game. And ubiquitous means there's a lot of them. There is a lot of buckets scored in a basketball game. It goes back and forth, and you're going to make shots around 45 to 50% of the time. So scoring in the NBA, it happens so much that fans won't really watch until the fourth quarter because the entire first 3 quarters and even like the 10 minutes leading up to the final 2 minutes of the fourth just seem meaningless because there's so much back and forth. You know what I mean? Like a 3 is happening every other time. Points scored don't seem as consequential in basketball as they do for some other sports. And hockey's issue is the scoring as well. But hockey's issue isn't how much it happens, it's how random it is. In hockey and soccer to some extent, but I'm just specifically talking about America here. I think this is another reason why soccer isn't as popular in America. You never know when a goal is going to be scored. It's going back and forth constantly. They could score from the blue line. They could score in close. They can score from one-timers. They can score from anywhere. And you'll never know when the specific time is for you to lock in and watch, which doesn't create as much tension watching the game, which is what we want. We want the last 2-minute stretch in the NBA where you've got to get a bucket. We want that game-winning drive in football. Hockey doesn't have that. It's so random when these different plays are going to happen. You just never know when to feel tension, if that makes sense. It's a big thing because you want to watch sports and feel that sense of, oh my gosh, here it comes. You know what I mean? You don't have that in hockey. Baseball's issue, among a bunch of other things, includes it still has a bloody 162 game regular season. Talk about regular season games feeling meaningless for the NBA. I'll raise you ×2 for baseball. Like when there's 162 of anything, it's tough to really feel something during that time. You know what I mean? And also add to the fact that the game has become very rigid and stagnant. And that's mainly because of the culture of the sport. You know, it's the national pastime. It's the oldest sport that we have. We have. It was very popular, you know, it was the most popular sport from the 1910s to about the 1970s. It's a very, very classic, rigid sport because that's the culture of it. And because it's the national pastime, it's become just that, a pastime. It hasn't evolved with the excitement and captivating elements that sports have become in the last 40, 50 odd years. It's stayed basically the same, which is why football is so brilliant, because it's such a great balance between the two. Objectively speaking, I know there's probably some hockey fans watching it, probably some basketball fans. Objectively, if you look at it, it's the most entertaining sport to watch. It's got the tension of each team having a turn to take a possession to score. It's got the excitement. It's got the entertainment. It's the most physical sport there is. So there's a sense of danger that we all enjoy. Listen, I understand that some people don't enjoy the hard tackling and big hits of the NFL, but there's a reason why boxing is a big sport. And there's a reason why MMA is bigger than it's ever been. People love people hitting each other. It's just human nature, especially for men. I know it's not as much for women, but women will just watch football because their husbands turn it on. You know what I mean? Men are the primary driver of sports viewership in the country. There's no doubt about that. So, in my mind, if I were to make the perfect sport, the sport that would be the most captivating, the most people would watch, the best culture, all of that, it would be the game of football, as I already explained, with the culture of hockey. Because hockey culture is just flat out fantastic. Everyone is all in for the team. Everyone in their interviews are as cliche and team-based as you can get. Everyone knows that their jobs aren't guaranteed. And I would take basketball superstars, because individually, people don't even root for teams anymore, at least as far as I know. In my basketball discussion group, who I talk to on a daily basis, we don't really have favorite teams. We have favorite players who we follow. There's LeBron fans, there's Kevin Durant fans, Steph Curry fans. We all have our guy. It's not even necessarily team-based anymore. So if I were to bring that into the sport as well, that would be huge. But here's the thing with that. The NFL is basically becoming everything I just described right now. Okay, so NBA superstars, they have that on lock right now. But with the quarterbacks that we're getting now, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, these guys are absolute super freaks of athletes who are individually getting just as much prominence as these NBA superstars are. And that's not just because of their individual greatness. They just have a bigger platform. Travis Kelce is a bloody tight end, and he's one of the most talked about athletes on the planet right now. Football used to be a very, very team-based game, and it still is. Everyone has a favorite team. You don't root for a favorite player. I don't know anyone who says, yes, I'm a, what's a good example? I'm a Tom Brady fan. Patriots fans stuck with the Patriots. They might have rooted for Tom Brady on the Bucs, but they stuck with their team. You know what I mean? Peyton Manning. Colts fans didn't become Broncos fans. That's not how it works in the NFL. But the superstars are becoming superstars. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, all of these guys who I just named, they're becoming to that NBA level. And when it comes to culture, like I said with hockey, it is the ultimate team game. And it used to be a lot more of, people. In football, you can get cut anytime. There's 53 men on the roster, and there's, 100 million guys drafted every year. Someone's always trying to take your spot. So it's very team-focused. It's very just punch you in the face, win at all costs culture. Anyone can be cut. Anything can happen at any time. And you add on to that the fact that the regular season is one game a week. One game, and there's only 17 games in the regular season. Every game feels so consequential to the team because there's so few of them. Again, the more we see something, the less we want to see it, because the rarity of something happening, it brings up your intrigue with it. You know what I mean? Like one game in the NFL once a week, regular season games are going to pull more than most NBA playoff games, because there's less of them. Every game feels more important. And football says, regular season, great, we've got that on lock. But for the playoffs, NBA's got series and NHL has got 7-game series. Baseball's got, we are going to send one game for the playoffs, win or go home. If that isn't consequential, I don't know what is. Like everyone says the best thing in sports is a game 7. Couldn't agree more. Every single NFL game is a game 7. Every NFL playoff game. All of them. Like, if you don't win, you're gone. And that brings up the intrigue. Again, I keep having to point this out. The more you see of something, the less the stakes feel. This is one and done, baby. You got one chance to do this thing. And in football, that's huge in the playoffs. In NBA, NHL, MLB, you'll get one game 7 maybe every round if you're lucky. NFL, you're guaranteed a game 7 every bloody playoff game. It's important. It feels intense. It's a different feeling than it is for these other sports. NFL just raises the level by not giving you too much, but giving you just enough that you want more. Add to that, stadium sports are always going to be the biggest sports because they can fit the most amount of fans in. Like, that's just a fact. I know baseball is a stadium sport too, but it can't hold as many people as an NFL stadium can. Even worldwide, stadium sports are always going to be the biggest. Cricket is probably the second biggest sport globally. Soccer is number 1. Stadium sports. There's so many reasons why this league is just so on a different level right now. America loves sports. But the other sports haven't yet come to realize that the more you give us of your product, the less intense and less intrigue we have with it. And there's nothing they can really do about it now because the rules have already been established. The awards would be changed. The history of the sports would just be thrown out the window, apparently. Imagine if the NBA had like a 20-game regular season. Everything Jordan did, averaged, LeBron when he retires, it would all be kind of just like comparing different sports, to be honest with you. And that's not something the NBA is going to do. If anything, they're going to add more games because people are missing so many. That's another thing. Like NHL games, Crosby could miss a couple games and it won't really feel like a big deal. If your quarterback is out for a regular season game, that could be the difference in your season. NFL is king. And those are just a couple of reasons why. If you guys have any more ideas as to why the NFL is so popular compared to these other sports, please let me know in the comments below. We just hit 70 subscribers on this channel. That's something. I know it's not 100,000 or a million like some of these other channels you follow, but it definitely means something to me. Thank you guys so much. Please leave a comment. I do read all comments. I'm small enough to where I can, and I love the back and forth down there. Let me know what you thought of the episode. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.